Hi, everybody. This is your friend Daniel Hutchins, and today we are doing another live stream here on channel Daniel Hutchins. Now, now since I got used to the ideas of live streams, now I am gonna dish out some new comic book universe content for you guys here on channel Daniel Hutchins. Given that in mind, I am going to be talking about more Hawkeye TV show stuff, and I'm going to be talking about some other cool stuff. And I'm also going to be doing a bonus afterward where I'm going to be doing my Shang-Chi Legend of Ten Rings review. So I'm going to pack it all into this live stream. So without further ado, on we go, true believers. So for more friend screen rant, we are talking about where was Yelena Belova during Hawkeye's episodes 1 and 2. Now, I know some of you guys are probably wondering that, so I'm going to be talking about it now. So, Hawkeye's first two episodes are now streaming exclusively now for members on Disney Plus. So, you can check out Hawkeye on Disney Plus if you haven't got the chance yet, and if you have, let me know in the comments after this video. But Yelena Belova, played by Florence Pugh, isn't in them. Where was she after Black Widow's post-credit tease? Warning, there are some spoilers from Hawkeye Episode 2. Okay, so Yelena Belova, Florence Pugh, isn't in the first two Hawkeye episodes. So we want to know, where is she following Black Widow's post-credit scene tease? Now, it was noted that only a few months ago, Natasha Romanoff's solo movie had introduced Yelena to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now, thankfully, Black Widow's ending had directly teased where the new fan favorite character would return. Now, the post credits revealed that now she's in the works for Contessa Valentina Agola de la Fontaine, played by Julia Louis Dreyfus, who recruited her to go on this mission to get revenge on the person responsible for Black Widow's death, noted Clint Barton. So after this tease, most MCU fans hoped that Yelena's participation in Hawkeye's story would be immediate, but instead, the first two episodes of the Disney Plus series focused on bringing their lead characters up to speed with Hawkeye and Kate Bishop. Together, they, for the first time in their adventure that ensues, that once they meet, Clint and Kate get plenty of trouble early on battling the tracksuit mafia. But their list of problems doesn't currently include fighting Yelena. So where is Black Widow's sister if she isn't already on Quinn's trail? Well, we're going to explain why. So again, hang on to your hats, because this is going to be a long one, like I said. So related to this article, Black Widow, the simple solution to Yelena and Hawkeye's conflict. But if you want me to talk about that next, I'll talk about it next. But again, I'm probably going to finish the rest of this article first. So there are multiple layers to this answer to Yelena Belova's whereabouts during Hawkeye's episodes 1 and 2. First and foremost, though, it is essential to consider where Yelena is geographically in the MCU right now. She was last seen in Midwest during Black Widow's post-credit scene. She could relatively be close to Hawkeye's New York story. However, it's also important to note that some time appears to have passed between Yelena's last appearance and her upcoming return. So Hawkeye is very clearly set right before Christmas, so it appeared to be the autumn when Yelena and Val had visited Black Widow's grave. With this potentially means months of Yelena's MCU story unaccounted for before she's returned for Hawkeye. But again, Yelena could have spent this time searching for Clint or training for the mission until her employer got a firm lead on his location. So Yelena not appearing in Hawkeye episode 1 and 2 could result from Clint Barnes' life secretive. She and Val might be some of the only people in the world to know that Clint was Ronin, but they still might not know his location. The Barton farmhouse was completely off the books from S.H.I.E.L.D., so much so that the other Avengers didn't even know if Clint's family existed. There's no way Val or Yelena would know about that either, meaning that Ronin's suit is the best chance to find him. But thanks to Hawkeye's first episodes, we got to see the new footage of the Ronin costume in New York. That could be what propels Yelena to travel to the Big Apple and confront Natasha's best friend. So, on top of this in universe explanation for Yelena Belova's absence from Hawkeye episode 1 and 2, keep in mind, guys, there is also the real life world practical explanation to consider. Although it has been confirmed that she will be in the show, she is not the main character and just one piece to a large puzzle. Hawkeye just needs to spend these first two episodes setting up his story in motion and introducing several new characters alongside Kate Bishop. It barely had time to introduce Echo, so it shouldn't be a surprise that Yelena's return didn't happen yet. Thanks to Hawkeye's two-episode premiere, though, her return will come sooner than usual. Okay, and I've gone. Hawkeye has already premiered on Wednesday. So I'm going to go back up to that spot, the solution to the conflict. So you want to know the simple solution to their conflict. Well, here we go. This is from August the 4th. So Black Widow set up a conflict between Yelena and Hawkeye about the death of Natasha and Endgame. Luckily, there is a simple solution to their issue. So Val's appearance in Black Widow sets up a couple of future narratives in the MCU. Firstly, it continues her trend of recruiting more ambiguous characters. It all started with the Falcon Winter Soldier when she reached out to John Walker. It's still uncertain how this will play out in the long run, but the Contessa is functioning as Phase 4's darker version of Nick Fury. Don't mind that, that's just an alarm. But anyway, so Contessa is functioning as Phase 4's darker version of Nick Fury, Samuel Jackson. Secondly, the second mission, of course, is to go after Clint. Directly leads to Yelena's appearance in Hawkeye. Val has manipulated her into going after the bow and arrow wielding Avenger by blaming him for the death of Nats. Now, the latest article, what Scarlett Johansson's lawsuit means for Disney, Marvel, and Hollywood streaming. But we already talked about that earlier in the summer, so we're not talking about that anymore. So while the Black Widow film doesn't give any indication of what Yelena's next move will be, the chances are that she'll be extra motivated to take down Clint, since her new mission has just become personal for her. More of a personal reason, per se. But obviously, it's nothing but a ploy for Val as solely blaming Hawkeye for Nat's death. It's an oversimplification for what actually happened. Granted that her sacrifice was not only the reason why Clint's alive, but also his family is back. Ultimately, she decided to give up her life for the cause of Endgame, or else they wouldn't have been able to save the world. In any case, Yelena will be operating with the idea that Hawkeye caused Natasha's death, which could end in a deadly battle between the two. Fortunately, though, there is an easy solution to this. All Clint has to do is recall the events of Budapest incident to Yelena to establish he and Nat were genuine friends. During Nat and Yelena's initial adventures in Budapest, at the start of Black Widow, the Avenger revealed details about her final test and defection. She was tasked to kill General Dreykov, played by Ray Winstone, by bombing the multi-level building. After that, she and Clint were immediately hunted down by law officers and took them 10 days before they could leave their city, which involved engaging in a shootout with Hungarian special forces and hiding in an air vent in a subway station for 2 days. So if Hawkeye corroborates all these details, Yelena will ultimately realize that he is her sister's ally. In addition to this, Clint also has to recall how he essentially saved Nat's wife, first when he refused to take her down and instead recruited her to be a member of S.H.I.E.L.D. Now, it is safe to assume that ultimately Hawkeye and Yelena could be allies, but they both love Nat and they can bond over their shared grief over her death. But before this happens, keep in mind, guys, Black Widow sets up a tumultuous relationship between this pair. Now, again, tumultuous relationship. The tumultuous relationship can be fixed as long as Hawkeye is able to explain the Budapest event. Okay, so key note here, Clint to realize who Yelena is in the first place, and he may have been unaware of the family that Nat's left behind. Okay, so there you go, guys. All that's the simple solution is all that Hawkeye has to do is remind Yelena about how they're best friends, and then try to get her to remember that he and Natasha were in the Budapest, and they had that adventure together. So yeah, okay. So you don't have to spend too much time on that. So if you want to know more about the adventure in Budapest, watch Black Widow. I'm not going to go too much into that because you can watch Black Widow for yourself, and you can watch that scene over again, and you can, so that way you'll know what exactly I'm trying to refer to. Okay, so we are we're going to be talking about Hawkeye still, but we're going to talk about how Hawkeye's show was influenced by Die Hard and Home Alone. So executive producer has the latest Disney Plus entry series, Clint Barnes influenced by Die Hard and Home Alone. So executive producer talks about how Marvel Studios' latest Disney Plus entry was influenced by two classic Christmas movies, Die Hard and Home Alone. Now, Jeremy Renner's first solo outing as Clint Barnes, Hawkeye, alongside fangirl protege Haley Steinfeld, Kate Bishop. Its two-episode premiere, which already just happened, Steinfeld Hawkeye introduces multiple faces to the MCU, including a bunch of other names whom could potentially be new allies and new enemies across the venture of the scope of the series. And then also, there's also Kate and Lucky the Pizza Dog, which are both main characters. Now, Clint is struggling with hearing loss, and the series is set around Christmas. So the show sees Clint take his kids on a Christmas vacation in New York City 2 years after the events of Endgame and the Blip, and to see the Captain America themed musical Rogers the Musical. Hawkeye episodes 1 and 2 see Kate don the Ronin persona, which provokes enemies from Clint's past. Therefore, him and Kate must get rid of that so Clint can go home to his family in time for Christmas. So, again, related. The MCU is doing Die Hard better than Bruce Willis. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about someone else. So, producer Tran had recently spoke with Yahoo Entertainment, which is a great entertainment source, by the way, to discuss about Hawkeye. She's discussed fleshing out the Christmas aspects of the 2013 comic book run of the classic Christmas films. But in particular, though, the producer has cited influence from two iconic 90s movies, Die Hard and Home Alone. There's definitely that style in there. There's Home Alone, which I really love as well, and Die Hard obviously has action. So that character, so we looked at a ton of them. We looked at different Christmas music as well. But most important of all was also how we integrated and maintained the feeling that we're after in all the projects we've created. The first Die Hard movie was released technically in 1988, but follows a wisecracking New York Police Department detective John McClane, played by Bruce Willis, and he attends the Christmas party with his estranged wife, Holly Gennaro, and in Nakatomi Plaza. Unfortunately, terrorists led by Hans Grammer, played by Alan Rickman, take over the building, and McClane has to go full action hero so that he can spend Christmas with his family. The year after Die Hard was released was Home Alone. Makes sense, right? So it brings audience to an unlikely hero of Kevin McAllister, played by Macaulay Culkin, who defends his home against a pair of burglars after being left home alone after the holidays. But then While both films draw parallels, Hawkeye's plot surviving Christmas, Die Hard isn't considered a Christmas movie at all. You can argue about it if you want, but again, there's lots of people who say Die Hard isn't a Christmas movie, but there's people who say that it is a Christmas movie. Argue about it down below after this video. But while Home Alone is unambiguous in this regard, something that can be said about Hawkeye. Now, the first MCU project set during holiday season was Iron Man 3 back in 2013, which was written and directed by Lethal Weapon director. However, the film pales in comparison to Hawkeye's Buddy Cop Christmas special, which is fully equipped with appropriate seasonal music, aesthetic, and motives, having lost his family between Infinity War and Endgame, and Hawkeye's desperate to make up for lost time in his Disney Plus show, exasperating the ticking clock of getting home for holiday. Fans will get to see how it pans out 3 days before Christmas when Hawkeye's finale drops on the 22nd. Okay. So now we're going to be going comparison. Hawkeye, being a Christmas story, can outdo Iron Man 3. So Hawkeye being a Christmas movie can outdo Iron Man 3. So Hawkeye has confirmed to be a Christmas story, something MCU has only done once, and they can do it better, and here's why. Marvel's upcoming Hawkeye TV series is set to be a Christmas story. That gives the chance to outdo Iron Man 3 from 2013, like I said, but that as well as mentoring Kate Bishop and trying to survive rehabilitation for his actions during the blip. Again, Quint Barn will spend the series trying to get home to his family in time for Christmas. It's unclear how Yelena Belova will, in the post-credit scene, will play in this, but she is confirmed to show up at some point. So Quint Barton in his final phase is the final phase 1 hero to receive her standalone, centered on his character. Now we fallen behind Natasha Romanoff's Black Widow, but Hawkeye will introduce his protege fan, Kate Bishop, played by Haley Steinfeld. Now the producer has said the series will be grounded and funny, packed to the brim with the Christmas spirit, as well as with action too. So which will set apart much of the MCU timeline. Now, the trailer confirms this is a juxtaposed explosive action scenes with Quint's traditional deadpan humor and jaunty Christmas music. Okay, related to these article, Yelena's real Hawkeye mission to recruit Kate Bishop, they explained. We're not talking about that, we're talking about someone else. Plus, I think I already talked about that a while ago, so you can try to see that on the channel later. But only one previous entry in the MCU has set on Christmas, and that was Iron Man 3, which was the last standalone movie of Tony Stark. Background trapping Christmas in a message that arguably parallels the Charles Dickens Christmas Carol, but not really so. But anyway, you get the idea. So it does very little with the setting beyond this, though. It might be the part that Tony Stark is so alone at this point in his life and why he converted to the way he was. But again, not talking about him that much. But a lot of the traditional scenes expected from Christmas movies rely on a sense of community and his reunion with Pepper Potts. As he watches all of his armors explode, cannot entirely pay off. Now, the MCU is set to embrace seasonal entries as the 2022 Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. But that doesn't come for a long time. In case you're wondering, that doesn't come till next Christmas. So, Hawkeye's already poised to become MCU's definitive Christmas story. The key part of Clint Barnes' narrative throughout the MCU is the focus on his family and the community. The loss of his family from Thanos' snap has destroyed his central element to him, and he goes off the rails for a long time. The close connection between Natasha and the Barnes family highlights the importance of found families. The series promises to play up to all these aspects, therefore, with the trailer's suggestion, Kate Bishop becomes Barton's found family. His relationship with his family will play a major part from the series. Okay, so the release timeline of Hawkeye fits perfectly with the Christmas story plan. Again, November 24th, which was 2 days ago, the final episode airing on December 29th. However, it's also slightly odd direction for Marvel to take to this point, while the MCU's often dealt with political issues. It's traditionally sealed clear of religion, associating itself with particular religious festival, but this was presumably been a effort to appeal to the wide and global audience. So while Hawkeye will almost certainly make better use of the season than Iron Man 3, it will be interesting to see how viewers will respond. Okay, so that kind of clears up a couple more things for you guys about Hawkeye, in case you guys were wondering. Okay, now we are switching gears. At least we're going to try to. Now we're switching over again to Spider Man again. Yeah, Spider Man. He's another big topic right now in comic book universe. Spider Man No Way Home trailers have turned the epic multiverse posters into art. This fan made digital art based on Spider Man No Way Home late trailer shows Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and Tom Holland in one epic poster. Again, the second Spider Man No Way Home trailer has inspired fans to come to the coolest artwork ever. Again, including one that turns in an epic multiverse poster. As part of Phase 4 of MCU, this movie that's coming up next month will be Tom Holland's third solo outing as Peter Parker. It also stars his girlfriend, his aunt, and Happy, who all return in to reprise their roles. Doctor Strange joins the cast, and highly anticipated superhero movie is going to come before Christmas on December the 17th. So, Spider Man No Way Home picks up from the events of 2019 Far From Home, which had Mysterio exposing his identity. So, we already know that, so we're skipping over that. But basically, this poster design is really cool. It's inspired by the multiverse by tying all of the Spider-Mans together, and it's really cool. You can see the poster on AGT Design Marvel Cinematic Universe on Instagram, and it has over 20,000 likes. It's really cool. You can see the original place post there on Instagram. So it's long been rumored that, of course, the former Spider-Man actors will return, and again, even though they both had denied their involvement, despite this, fans are fervently waiting for their trailer to hope that they will be there. So now that Spider Man No Way Home fan art has helped fans to visualize what it would be like with all these Spider Man actors sharing the big screen, exploring the concepts of the multiverse within the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The film is expected to deliver shocking surprises. Because of all this, fans aren't ruling out this crossover from all those reboots. However, nothing is impossible in this ever expanding world of superheroes. Okay, so yeah, we just uh, we just talked about Spider-Man. So now we are trying to find something else. Okay, Guardians of the Galaxy versus Suicide Squad. Who would win in a comic battle? So Marvel Group or DC Group? Okay. There are a few teams within Marvel and DC universe that could rival the Guardians of the Galaxy and Suicide Squad. Dysfunctionally though, both teams have been moved by the comics forefront in recent years. We can thank that by James Gunn. Again, James Gunn has created both of them in his own idea. So both the Guardians and the Suicide Squad have undergone a number of roster changes in their expansive comic book history. However, the two have definite runs and fan favorite characters that serve as the base of most famous team lineups. Again, their cinematic counterparts, though, the Guardians of the Galaxy originated in late 1969 by it was Dan Abnett and Andy Lanning's landmark 2008 run of the title that gave them the modern team we know today. So we don't really have to go into who all the team is because you know who's on that team. Plus, the Suicide Squad, you kind of already know who's on the Suicide Squad, so we don't have to go into that either. But you know who I'm talking about, who's on Guardians of the Galaxy and who's on Suicide Squad. So leading to the Suicide Squad into a battle by Rick Flag, this direct opposition to follow the half-human former pilot Peter Quill, who's left Earth for the stars, has early age. In terms of physical strength and tactical knowledge, Quill and Flag are seemingly on an equal playing field. That is until Quill's power granted element gun is brought in the battle. Star-Lord's gun gives the edge over Flag and any combat training he has to offer. Again, we also have some other stuff to compare as well. So, Suicide Squad is composed of humans with mildly enhanced abilities, and Guardians of the Galaxy is an opposite. So, being a single human surrounded by aliens and otherworldly beings. These aliens are not slouches either, each having earned dubious reputations throughout the galaxy. Gamora is trained stepdaughter by Thanos. Adam Warlock's a specimen who's going to be in the next movie. And we kind of get the whole idea. So, you know what I'm saying? So, while Marvel's Avengers and Fantastic Four are seen as the main front lines responsible for dealing with conflicts on Earth and outer space, the Guardians of the Galaxy are no strangers to defending the greater cosmos against extraterrestrials. These are included because vicious planet eaters, interdimensional conquerors, and shape-shifting aliens. It's difficult for Flag and his team to prove much against aliens who have taken down planetary threats for a living, so Guardians of the Galaxy would sure win this fight handily. The Suicide Squad has expanded their roster, but include the likes of formidable metahuman menaces like King Shark, Cheetah, and Killer Frost, and Black Manta in recent years. But they're still simply outclassed, if anything. So the Suicide Squad would be much more of a worthy match for the Thunderbolts, which are another group that's rumored to be working under the MCU in the future, and the Thunderbolts are an oversight supervision of the US government. So, okay, now we're talking about Guardians of the Galaxy some more. So, Guardians of the Galaxy comics lets Rocket grow in ways the MCU won't. So, while Rocket Raccoon of the MCU may have had a hard time getting along with his Guardians, the comics have allowed him to grow and evolve. So, spoilers ahead for Guardians of the Galaxy number 18. So, recent issues of Guardians of the Galaxy from Marvel Comics have allowed Rocket to grow and evolve. Straying from his depiction of the MCU, during the last Annihilation, Rocket has stepped up to be a major player and a hero. Nathan Summers, Cable, has even confirmed that Rocket's legacy in the future is that of a legend that inspired many, including Cable himself. However, the Guardians of the Galaxy films from MCU feature Rocket struggling to get along with his teammate, such as when he's arguing with Peter Quill about who is the best pilot in the team's tournament. Okay, so in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Rocket is still rather a large jerk, and the fellow teammates, despite his growth in the Guardians, had their first adventure, of course. Essentially, his self-centered attitude continued to win out the majority of the film, such as when he stole the batteries from the Sovereign people, landing the Guardians in all kinds of trouble. He made things even worse when he started arguing with Star-Lord about who should be flying their ship to get him from danger, resulting in the Milano crash landing. Related to this article, Guardians of the Galaxy Rocket secretly loves his Trash Panda nickname. But we're not talking about that, we're talking about someone else. So, in contrast, though, Marvel Comics has flipped the script from Guardians of the Galaxy 18 from Ala Wing and Juan Ferreira. So, despite Rocket having brought together a fabricated planet sized gun with a massive anti magic bullet to be used against Dormammu during the last Annihilation, Rocket did not insist on firing the impressive weapon, but instead has is gracious and humble enough to realize the preferable guardian to do the deed with the best chance for success was Gamora. showcasing his growth he has and compassion to the MCU version of Rocket Raccoon. Not only in this pretty cool deviation from the big screen that highlights comic book Rocket's revolution, but the recent Cable Reloaded #1 by Alan Wing and Robert Quinn doubles down though. So Cable was an instrument agent in helping secure the gun for the last annihilation. As soon as he learned that the idea came to Rocket, he was unquestionably on board. Apparently, though, future generations consider Rocket to be one of the greatest heroes and tacticians of all time, which further has proven that he can be more than of a jerk thief than he's portrayed as in the MCU. Again, thankfully, Avengers Endgame saw Rocket determined to get his friend back, but indication that he genuinely understands the purpose of family and he after he lost during Infinity War. Now that the Guardians are back together post Endgame, here's hoping that Rocket Raccoon can experience the same levels of lasting, consistent growth in MCU going forward when he's in his Marvel Comics Guardians of the Galaxy series. So now we're going to be talking about one more thing about Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians of the Galaxy has hinted possible future members. Current run of Guardians of the Galaxy is over, but the comics has ended with the tease of potential members who might join the team when it returns. Okay, so contains spoilers from Guardians of the Galaxy 18. Recently, the tenure of Guardians of the Galaxy has massively expanded the team's roster. New faces such as Hawkwind and Wiccan join veterans Rocket and Gamora, as well as the return of cosmic heroes like Nova and Quasar. Ewing has expressed interest in swelling the ranks even further. And Guardians of the Galaxy 18 on sale now in print, digital. Readers see potential new members. The issue is that the last current series, but just some may join the team when it inevitably returns. So the Guardians of the Galaxy have spent most of their time together in an uneasy relationship with galactic law enforcement. However, due to the crumbling galactic infrastructure exacerbated by collapsing economy and stretched too thin by Nova Corps, the Galactic Council deputized the Guardians of the Galaxy, making them an official law enforcement body. In addition to this new status, the team is given new uniforms as well as a new headquarters and team membership expanded too. Now, among the new faces were aforementioned Hawkwind and Wiccan, along with the Super Skrull and Doctor Doom. Not only were the crooks now the cops, but now also an army. No sooner did the new Guardians organize the Dread Dormammu, attack the galaxy, possess an ego and living planet, and launch a campaign of terror. The Guardians, along with every major galactic power banded together and stopped Dormammu, may now have the time for the Guardians to celebrate and a few new faces dropped in to help. Guardians of the Galaxy 18 is written by Ali Wing and Ron Ferguera, covers by artist Federico Blee, and letters by Corey Petit. Okay, related to this article, Guardians of the Galaxy Rocket secretly likes Trash Panda nickname. But we're not talking about that, we're talking about someone else. The issue final page shows the regular Guardians team without Doctor Doom, who's left after completing his agenda, celebrating their victory and talking about the possibility of taking a vacation. In addition to this, the standard team readers can also see Storm, who is now a region of Morocco, and Terraform Mars, Mikaboos, the region of Intergalactic Empire Wakanda, Abigail Brand, and Manifold from Sword, Blackjack O'Hare, and Associate Rockets, and, well, the Prince of Power, the Infinity Stone powered He-Man Prestige, the former Knight of the Infinite Morgan. So again, when Guardians of the Galaxy has inevitably returns to the future, might readers see some of these new faces on the team? Now, adding Storm, Manifold, and the Prince of Power would give the Guardians a definite upgrade in terms of powers. Manifold could function as a team's teleporter if mutant kind can spare them, while the Prince of Power provides incredible brawn at the cost of inexperience. Other members provide the Guardians with strategic advantage as well. Storm and Mikaboo are both interstellar leaders and the new regent of the Intergalactic Empire Wakanda in the lesser-known character whose aim of redeeming his infamous name could be aided in joining the team side by side with Hawkwind and Wiccan. They could send a message to the rest of the galaxy that major powers are now in full support of the Guardians of the Galaxy, not to mention Mikabu's experience toppling planets spanning regimes. Each one of these characters has something to offer to the Guardians of the Galaxy, with Mikagron's magic, the Black Jack O'Hare's willingness to do whatever's wrong, especially now Rock has matured into his role as a hero. The book is over for now, but of course the team's ambitious new status quo remains, especially in the wake of immense victory against Dormammu. Perhaps readers can also see some new faces join Guardians of the Galaxy soon, and perhaps can even earn a spot in MCU. Okay, so I'm getting kind of a little bit tired of talking about Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm going to be talking about them at a later time. So now we are going to be doing my quick Shang-Chi review. Okay, so my Shang-Chi Legend 10 Rings review. Okay, so all I have to say is a couple things. Okay, so my Shang-Chi review, I would say I would give it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. The reason I'd give it 4.5 out of 5 stars is simply because I thought it was really creative. I thought it had excellent art, it had excellent action, and I felt like it just definitely spanned out some more ancient Chinese history that I thought was really cool. And I like how it tied in his father. I like how it tied in his sister. I like how it tied in all the elements that Shang-Chi had in the comics. And I also thought that the fact that they had the sorcerer's assistant Wong in the movie, I thought his appearance showing up in Shang-Chi was nice as well. And also the post-credit scenes, what I have to say about the post-credit scenes from Shang-Chi, I have to say overall, in my opinion, the post-credits of Shang-Chi weren't terrible. They weren't terrible at all. I just think they were just kind of like, okay. So now Shang-Chi is now going to become an Avenger. Okay, big deal. We already know he's going to be set up to be an Avenger. So there really wasn't really much to say about the post credits other than Shang-Chi is going to be set up to join the Avengers. But okay. So yeah, anyway guys, I'm hoping you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I just wanted to let you guys know on a side note that I just wanted to do this quick live stream for y'all. And again, I'm hoping you guys have an awesome day, and I hope you have an awesome Friday and an awesome weekend. And I'm probably going to push out some more content later. Right now, I'm just chilling. So don't mind me. I'm just chilling. So yeah, I'll catch you guys a little later then. And I'll see you in another upload at a later time. I'll see you guys then. Bye.